team that he has studied a lot. Less than a handful of times. I think personally I saw it maybe one game in the whole group stage. So a very rare pick that for this game. And historically, Abaddon has been swinging between being a position 3 and a position 5 most of the time. There's been phases where it has been a 1, but this is very uncharacteristic, and you're probably going to be seeing further on know each other so much. They've played so many games in the groups, so they will be trying to next level on the draft.
But this is something too we're expecting to come out from PPD. Like he's not just going to sit there and play Team Liquid's draft, play Team Liquid's game, and Team Liquid are doing. Like, yeah, they've mixed it up. We have the Lich pick up for Kuro, like he's been playing the Wraith King as well, so the panel was saying very dynamic in the way Optic can actually lane everything they've got, but we're looking for the same level of flexibility. You don't want that being behind at the draft feeling at the very beginning, and both teams, like, I feel pretty comfortable with this. Like, I just see Abaddon pickup really working. Like, who is it against? Who's it meant to shut down?
I think it's, from what I can tell, the first thing that the panel covered is this 5-man style, but I feel like Abaddon should in theory be a really good pick against Dark Willow. I do believe the one problem it has is I think you cannot actually,
it's 3 for Liquid, 1 for Optic.
He can shadow roam TP, he's probably going to. So, good start for Liquid. They get that extra rune. It's going to cost them a bit of regen there for GH, but they're probably happy with this. So, Abaddon's Aphotic Shield, obviously removing these stuns, is really useful against the Wraith King. It's great against the Dark Willow, who has multiple ways of blocking heroes down, but I do believe you cannot actually remove the Terrorize on yourself by activating your ultimate. You can, however, remove it on allies, if I remember correctly.
Of watching that top. Has finally arrived at the top.
And I wonder which team feels like they got the better deal out of this. So Lich dual lane offlane is a classic. The panel was saying that Dragon Knight wants to play against the Clinks, so as far as that goes, that's good for Optic. Tiny against Alchemist is a Tiny favorite lane in the beginning, but Alchemist ultimately will start gaining his farm in the jungle. And then finally in the bottom lane, this protect and deal damage. And we'll see how these lanes go.
Matama's copying a fair chunk of damage.
So is PPD now. Abaddon has 0 armor and he's playing with that. So that hurts.
At least he'll get a stick now. So actually there's not that much spam maybe from GH to cause some problems. But how does Optic actually deal with the mid lane? We've seen Tiny versus Alchemist. I think Sumail was the best example from the group stage. Would follow the Alchemist wherever he goes. Do you want that kind of level of aggression from TCNC? Or is it on the rotation from the side lanes?
Well, what I generally like to say when Alchemist is in the game and it's a core, then it's an Alchemist game. Like, he is the centerpiece of the game for both teams, really. You can't just leave Alchemist completely unattended. So first of all, you want CCNC to aggress in the lane. What Sumail did in the group stage was kind of extreme in terms of aggression, but in the right case it can be great. Generally what you do though is you bring supports in to try to contest Alchemist's jungle camps. You try to either steal them or kill Alchemist as he's farming them. But we'll see. I feel like CCNC as a player doesn't really have the same super aggressive mindset that Sumail does, however. So I would be surprised to see him starting to dive that tier 2 tower in at 4, like we saw Sumail do against Somnus earlier.
PPD, they just want to trigger off the shield nice and early, looking for that extra damage. GH has got it, but not enough. 10 HP and PPD denied himself on the bottom lane. Does not want to give them that first blood.
Close call.
Real close, probably
a little more charged up on that Shadow Realm, and I think GH was worried that PPD was going to fog him in the trees on the right, so had to go for the attack there, and PPD was the quick mess.
The other intense lane's been up on top. Mind Control's been trying to harass down both sides, but it's been absolutely terrific. Always packs off, let Study 3 take a couple of extra hits, and there's a lot of consumables left on that top lane, so it feels almost null to this harassment damage that Control. off and back underneath the tier 1 tower in relative safety.
It might not look that big, but Bramble actually costs him so much regen. He's going to have to send out extra regen. Matumbaman obviously taking advantage of it, getting that Great Fire Blast out, doing a lot of extra damage.
Kuro rotates in towards the mid, just harassing down CCNC. They'll burn the south, they'll back out, but huge thing as well is like GA just had to walk all the way back to base into the long walk of shame before it can return to the lane.
This rotation from Kuro from top to mid is very natural for him because he wants to check the 4-minute rune, and he just walks in. I'm not sure if he's trying to next level Optic here by pretending he warded. He didn't actually have a ward with him. Usually you do ward for that 9 in the mid lane, but for now Kuro didn't have it on him. I would imagine it's flying out soon for their courier. As for Optic, the mid ward right now, which should be really important. You want to control these runes when you're tiny. You want to get this, for example, haste that CCNC has right now. One of the best heroes in the game to get a DD on.
Instead they got the wall down the bottom top lane, harassment pretty heavily into mind control. He's got the skeleton, walks her, backs off. They're looking towards Zai. Kuro, he wants to lend the Frostblast, got off cooldown right now, pops it onto Zai, but mind control is the 5-minute bounty runes as well. Watch the players rotate. They need to get his point, but this is possible. That's why bottom lane, but Matumba's already fighting with GH, harassing into Pycat and PPD. They'll pull the entire creep wave along with them. So it'll only be a 2-for-2 trade-off unless Pycat really wants to commit. That's why they shield him up. GH can't fight back. He doesn't have Shadow Realm available through the tree lines. Shukuchi comes off cooldown. GH has to pop the shrine. It's only just come up, and they have the damage. This should be the first blood. GH needs to duke it out. Bramble in 1 second time. No more battle. Pycat claims the first blood on what has been a very denied offlane.
And they're going to retreat back and grab this second round. So it's going to be a 2-for-2 split, it looks like. And yeah, Optic probably looking pretty fine here right now. They have a relatively big lead in the mid lane in terms of experience. CCNC almost a full level ahead against Miracle. Obviously, net worth super inflated. Is an Alchemist we're talking about. You do imagine that Optic will want to try to counter Miracle relatively soon, and that's a bit of a question mark to me with their draft. Like, who's actually pressure this Alchemist? Do support duo? Bad in the hive. So you're forced. They have to
Pycat, he can't Shukuchi. He's got a couple of stick charges. Raindrop will come back up and take him 1 minute time. And trees. Needed to wait as long as he could, so he actually got the charge off. Now GH actually gets hit by the swarm. It's enough to make him think twice about initiating. Matumba wants to go in deep. PPD's really, really low. Can shield up. There's still no stick charges for Matumba, but GH with the attack. He waited perfectly before the shield exploded. And then hits with the Shadow Realm. Liquid get on the board.
They do, and obviously looking across these lanes, it is relatively even right now, so nobody in this game, and this is something about Liquid that I feel like separates them from other teams when you look across their games. All of their players seem to have a really good ability to carry any given game if they're in the position that needs to do it. They don't have, it doesn't have to be Miracle winning the game for them. Some games Mind Control takes over, some games Matumbaman takes over, and it looks pretty healthy for them in this game because all 3 of their players are in a position where they can be aggressive from the 10 to 15 minute mark. Both the Clinkz, Wraith King, as well as the Alchemist will be online to be able to get some fighting going.
Yeah, especially if Alchemist can find a little bit of time just to go into those Zai. They already got the double stack to work with. Zai in trouble, trying to retreat back up, so 33 had to land the Dragon Tail. Stop like feeding into him, but Zai comes back in again. He's so low on life, 15 HP is still enough to survive. And they'll move over to claim that Dire Shrine inside the jungle.
It looks like Zai will take it alone. Obviously 33 doesn't want to give up any experience.
He doesn't have Shadow Realm. And he'll be okay.
As the panel pointed out, though, the Swarm is a really nice skill to have against Dark Willow, especially in the, well, at all stages of the game, really, just to be that Pestilence, prevent Dark Willow from being as mobile.
Because it still attacks too through Shadow Realm, right?
I do believe that. I mean, it definitely sticks. I do think the attacks go through as well, so you can't blink, but I'm not 100% on that. But yeah, Dark Willow definitely big deal. I do think the attacks.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain that
your guess is as good as mine.
I heard Fog during the group stage, and he's always a good, reliable source. But so far, like, even with this early advantage, like, you've got the Alchemist getting a lot of farm in, and he's a 4.8k net worth, that looks great. But Optic still have 3 players contesting that top net worth position, and it's only 1k with 8 minutes in.
Miracle does look very healthy,
Good
though.
scan.
He got out of this laning stage very well on the Alch. Had a bit of a hard time in the start, but he has the same CS.
CCNCs can just dive this anyway if he wants to. Zai can tether over. He just needs to find where Miracle is. Sees him in the tree line, but CCNC's haste crew wears off at the wrong time.
very good awareness.
Matumba, not level, actually he is level 6, does not level up Reincarnation, he went 3-1-2. So no second life for him.
I think even if he had it there, he didn't have the mana. Nice kill, grab for Optic. In the mid lane, CCNC putting some pressure onto Miracle, forcing out that chemical rig. A short moment of maybe try to go for a kill later on.
GH is looking to move up and change the balance of this top lane. Zai may not be ready for it. The Bramble throws down Zai. Now he makes it absolutely perfectly. CCNC's name with the damage from the Zai. Will it be enough? Mind Control finds the kills. The clinks with a searing arrow. And maybe now full retreat. For CCNC arriving in the lane. This is not where Liquid want to be, but they managed to split all three ways. And they're back out to safety.
And in the mid lane for the Alchemist, Miracle very happy to see this rotation off from the Tiny. He's going to make the most of it, actually claiming half his tower already.
Oh, Zai tries to TP in to take the creep wave off the tower. And CCNC does return, so Alchemist is happy with it, back into jungle farming.
Pycat on Matumba bottom. Bounty runes are about to spawn, so both of them want to be in range to contest. Oh, Pycat misclicked! Oh, he wanted to grab the rune!
Real. Without that rune, he can't.
That's a blunder. That is a blunder. That was 100% unintentional. Wanted to click the rune, ended up clicking the Wraith King. Does not have the mana for time lapse. And Matumba grabbing a nice free kill for himself there. Those kills are big. It's core on core solo kill, so a lot of gold. Brings all of the kill gold as well as the AoE gold, and that one 355.
And now you're starting to really move up in the world of net worth. 3,000 the advantage for Team Liquid. More space for Matumba on bottom because everyone's gone. The rotation in towards mid to help out CCNC comes up. This is very problematic for Optic.
This Alchemist last pick is working out very, very well for them. I imagine the way Liquid planned this when they went for this last pick was that they looked at, yes, we will be facing a Tiny. However, can they actually invade us very easily? Since none of the supports have significant damage or lockdown, they probably felt that even with a slightly losing lane matchup, Miracle will be free to farm for these next 5 minutes and get a lot of items. Who's going to gank him? Your Dragon Knight going to come over there? Maybe Tiny and Weaver together could combine. But
they have the opportunity at least because he's going for a straight Radiance build. So that really should be up by the 13th Matumba. In real trouble on bottom still, doesn't level up that Reincarnation. Now he does, he's got the mana available for it. And a pretty damn big farming. They slow him down. Kuro will TP in over. Pycat made his break to the tree line. And they've got help. CCNC is in the neighborhood. And now, well, with Kuro Lich ulti bounces up to PPD, he will die as well. It reaches far enough with a curse round. CCNC's having a hard time getting away from Matumba, but just slowed up. GH can no longer help. Pycat was too much on him, so Ishikuchi
he gets wrong.
but GH, he shoots it out, goes to the right side. Pycat still got another chance because the swarm flies through. It doesn't look on GH, however, so Ishikuchi's down. There's a crash run. They keep the stuff going. Pycat time lapse stops before the damage can arrive with the Bedlam out from GH. Pycat just has to Ishikuchi himself away to the other side of the creek wave for safety. Maybe not all the way. The Matumba wants to hit him a couple of times. Maybe with CCNC arriving. Avalanche is going to arrive with the top. Pycat, PPD. All three combine together to bring down Matumba.
But look at the space. Radiance.
He relocated in behind, almost at the tier 2 tower, looking for the retreating GH.
Optic needs to. They just need to up the pace here. They can't keep playing at this pace. Miracle's getting way too much. You see him already showing up with this Radiance. This has got to be. There's also the mental aspect of this, right? You're playing on a big stage. You're playing an important game, and you see a 12-minute Radiance on Alchemist. Yeah. You need to start game planning now. Like, okay, this is a problem. Like, what is our solution? And I think if you just play slow, go for a couple of lane picks here and there, and just let Miracle farm, this game only ends one way. Alchemist has played so many games like this. And you look at the late game counters, which is another thing. Like sometimes, yeah, you can give Alchemist a bit of space. You know, it's all right. We've got some of those late game carries that are really good against Alchemist. And this game, there's nobody who's going to kill this guy.
Yeah. If they had that late game edge, then yeah, maybe this would be a better position. They could just continue doing what they're doing, but just not everybody else dying in trouble. Just came up for a little bit of a ward mission. And Matumba as well as GH just locking control. PPD, tapping away. Somebody wants to survive. The curse crown still going to connect. And Kuro will pop him. Just letting that chain cross go, very liberal with it. Matumba's not done. Links forward towards the bat, but he's done.
He was hoping to proc that, but just didn't get under the damage threshold of 400. So PPD will have that available. I believe we're looking at a smoke. want to go and make a move on the Alchemists.
Exactly what's
They can't
happening.
keep waiting. They do have a good aggressive ward, so this is the Weaver as well as Tiny combining. You know what? I'm not...
Is this enough?
That's what I'm wondering. He has stick charges, he has strength treads on.
They don't even have a slow, they don't have a control. It's like CCNC watching Tom Miracle. He's still around long enough for him to come in range of that high ground, but Chemical Rage starts to wear off a GH and Kuro nearby. They're there to support him. PPD caught inside the bramble, but he'll be fine. 33, he's actually hiding in the middle of like the entire lane. As Mind Control and Matumba were looking for a kill on him, but that early Shadow Ambulance is going to allow him to survive. And yeah, that wasn't intentional.
Tower is staggering.
I don't think Liquid saw it, but if they did, PPD is a very easy grab right now. 50 seconds. No borrowed time on him.
33 is TP down to the bottom lane. Optic want to change the point of attack. They want to try and find Matumba, and man, he blinked over the swarm. Pycat saw him go. They'll create a small little army. With Dragon Form 33 arriving on bottom lane. This is now tower taking time. This is going to restrict the map of Team Liquid. But that's why they look for the rebuttal. They've got Clinks, the king of killing tier 1 towers.
Yeah, Mind Control's just having a blast, honestly. He hasn't really had to move much.
He's going to hide that the Optic players.
Matumba went for the bounty room. This is going to cost.
Throw him down. Matumba did not have reincarnation mana. It was off cooldown.
Yeah, I think he purposefully didn't get enough mana there. He could have sticked to have it, but he didn't want to die twice. So now he at least has his ultimate when he comes alive. He knew he was way out of position there. Getting a bounty rune is still a huge win, though. He is on the Alchemist team, so even sacrificing a core to get a bounty rune or two can be worth it.
Dragon Ball falls into mid lane, but CCNC attacked up by GH with the Bedlam. He'll go back in towards Roshan. Thinks about the Terrorize, but he's buying time. Alchemist, Concoction doesn't want it. Actually blinks away before throwing him. That means CCNC. Oh no! He thought GH was going to walk up the ramp.
Dire structures are fortified.
Mid lane pressure. And the spray will slow this down. Qualification game with the same type of thing. Kuro. Against CNC, but he's a tanky enough, is he? Not with Concoction. Zion doing the best he can to keep him alive, but now gets caught in the bramble. It caught 2 heroes. Now the TP out from 33. He'll have the time because there's no more stuns available. So Tiny as well as Io will pop borrowed time. TPD's got it 2 seconds until shield's up, and he doesn't have that time. Pycat does the best he can to keep the mid lane continuously pushing in towards that tier 1 tower. 68 HP, that's worth a denial.
I love this build from Miracle, by the way. We haven't really talked about this Blink Dagger on Alchemist. You did point out he blinked backwards once. Most of the time when Alchemist has a good start, we see them going for this very snowbally approach where you get the Radiance, then you get your next item such as Manta. But in this case, going for the dagger, realizing, well, I'm actually strong enough to just win the points. Why wait?
33 found the perfect target. GH was just sitting in the tree lines. It's only a level 1 Dragon Tail stun, but it was enough. Pops the Dragon Form and ensures the kill.
Regeneration.
And it's at this point you look to Optic and you're looking, okay, what's our solution for Alchemist? Can anybody get a Spirit Vessel here? Io has the urn, but looks to be planning for a Glimmer Cape. And the problem that I still see is Liquid will have these tanky cores, Alchemist, Wraith King, and even the Clinks with Death Pact. All of them will have ice armor. In the Optic Gaming lineup, do they have the oomph to get into the
Maybe now. Try it now. The Observer looks on Miracle, and with the swarm on top of it, Miracle's losing armor real quick. Puts down the anti-spray, but they bring down the beast.
Biggest kill on the map. Alchemist is top net worth. He's on the leading team, and these kills are worth so much money. How much did they get for that kill?
537 gold into Zai.
Yeah, they got 1,000 in total, and Miracle lost 400, so that's a 1,500 gold swing, just that one kill. And you want to look for that Alchemist. It's the Diffusal reveal from the Weaver that gets the job done.
GH and Mind Control looking to wrap around the bottom. They don't have Bramble available at the moment, so finding a kill is difficult. And you're fairly certain Zai wants to do a relocate gank onto somebody. The place they really have to go is potentially top lane.
Yep. Mid tower's already claimed, bottom is claimed, so find their next objective.
Mind Control, they're still relocating into the tree lines. Actually, cancels it. Zai does not want to bring everybody in, and with that Pycat, he can time lapse. PPD freed him from the GH curse, but then PPD, how many times? Bounces away! So unlucky, but he still wants to try and fight it off. He doesn't have the borrowed time available, so PPD will end up falling, but Pycat's the bigger one. Chikuchi up, he still does it, but he'll get up the hill and far away. So So PPD, we know the 5 positions have it hard, but that is just brutal.
That was pretty funny. I think that was 4 bound, where there was 1 or 2 secondary targets it could have hit instead. Kept jumping to him. I mean, in a way, maybe he was happy with it. You know, I'm in on my ulti, so I'm getting healed from it. But the slow stacking is really a problem.
Yeah, but he did his job, right? He saved the Weaver from Terrorize.
Did the right thing, for sure.
Yep. Big pickup and a big reason too why you want to have that advantage. It's that saving grace. We've seen a couple of oracles appearing, but Aphotic Shield makes it very difficult for Liquid just to focus that target with disables and just pop them. But they're still looking very good, Team Liquid. 9,000 gold advantage. The Manta Sound just got completed over on Miracle. Optic Gaming need to, you said amp up the tempo. It's still, can they amp harder?
Well, I'm looking for Miracle to amp up the GPM. My prediction was 1k plus GPM.
That'll be good.
That still hasn't been done, I think.
No, it hasn't.
We haven't
the
been
entire
there.
group stage, it hasn't.
He's on the way, 815 GPM on this Alchemist right now. Bounty runes are about to spawn, and Optic in a good position here to claim at least 2 of them.
Mind Control is ready to fight on bottom lane, but Tamakura, GH, they're all coming in. The bottom tower should be taken. They see 33 over the tree line. Coming to Shadow Blade right now. He's going to survive, and he is invisible. They're revealing with the dust. PPD is turning around. Robotic Shield gives him a little bit more time to begin with. They get hit by the Bramble 2 times over, and that's already triggered his borrowed time, so DK will fall. The back will follow through. Team Liquid Tier 2 tower is gone. And maybe more. Zai so low on life. The Radiance Berg got him. The acid spray was ticking it. And Miracle just walks by and gets a drive-by kill on Zai.
That Alchemist.
There's a lot of weight to move from foot to foot.
He makes it look easy, and then he makes it look easy.
And now they're going to go for Roshan 20 minutes in. It's not like Miracle's got enough money already. He's already staring down the barrel of an Assault Cuirass.
Yep. What's the GPM at now? 837, so gone up 20 since we last looked at it. What Optic did manage to do there was at least to grab 3 bounty runes. It's really important against this Alchemist to grab these runes. Things could be looking a lot worse right now. They did also get the tower.
Going up Matubman with this diffuser blade over on the Weaver. Matubman getting this ulti off is just impossible. Basically, like this, Optic know they have the kill. The cost is, of course, the Aegis, the Immortal, and it is on Miracle.
And it did seem like Liquid planted him down there as a distraction.
So, Mind Control triggers off PPD, only against CC by Avalanche does. He's finally going to try and get rid of Kuro. No, he can't! The range drop protecting Kuro so well. So CC can't finish the job. He's tiptoeing around the Bramble. He wants to go again. Blinks off cooldown in 4 seconds time. They don't know Kuro to the tree line, but now they know where Mind Control is. Dragon's up from 33. He came under the cover of it. With the Fenrir goes down, there's nowhere for Clinks to really run off to, or is there? He's still got the swarm on him in Mind Control. He's actually got the distance, he's got the speed, and he's away.
Only Sentry's on PPD in that situation, and that doesn't cut it for that kill.
Is about to take
and you know what, Toby?
What?
Space for Miracle. He's just farming. He's up to 870 now. Let me keep the tally going.
My space created. Copy paste binds.
Yep, pretty much.
And Miracle has practically got the AC.
Yeah. He's getting really, really big here.
And BKB will be coming in soon for 33. He needs a little bit more time to farm this one up. I don't know if they can really keep up with the other cores, however.
Yeah, Pycat is closing in on his too. I think it's a good approach here. Optic need 2 things. They need BKB so that they can stay alive in the fight against all this magic damage and focus fire. And then they need to swing all around the side. Those 2 things they need.
Pycat staying here, vying for the tether, but it will not happen. They have more than enough control through just Matubman. They didn't even need anything else for that. And now they find 33. Climbing up Ancient, Kuro will slow down the Frost Blast. They Sentry and Observer. And 33 the TP up. Perfect way to play, and there is no more stuns available.
Chain Frost. The sound is nice.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Tanked. Like
Dire structures are
Tier 1000 has been brought down. Liquid, they're ready for this push. The Assault Cuirass has just arrived. So, yeah, 23 minutes in, 20,000 net worth. Normally it's pretty good when a team can go with that kind of net worth per minute, but having the Alchemist this big,
Dire's bottom tower.
these BKBs will allow Optic to survive, but it will not allow them to kill. And they're TPing over. The Dire scanning up. Pycat wants to know who's going to be safe, trying to get to the back lines. As the front lines attack, the swarm is through. His Kuro, that's why CC efficiency. Focus into Costa into the rear. Then she's going to kill on design, able to claim it. So there goes the medic. And then reincarnation. Great kick gets back to the world of the living. The Bramble. It won't catch anyone from Optic. That is a terrorize. Two huge whips. And Optic have an opportunity with these controls and chemical rage coming out. Optic Ball determined. They're going to make a new down GHC CNC, sacrificing himself to do this. With none of that burst damage, Optic just have to stay inside their base and fight illusions. They can't even find the real stuff.
And you still have a second life on Miracle in this situation. The Aegis was burnt. Still, that's the kind of fight that we're looking for from Optic, right? They activate this BKB on the Weaver. The Dragon Knight will have one relatively soon. And, well, it looks like Zai is indeed working on that Spirit Vessel. However, he has to play around a couple of additional problems right now with both the Man-Style and the Aegis. It's a step in the right direction. Optic, they have to just hold on and try to get the items that can bring it down.
He's got the Vision, the Observer, and Sentry, but it's kind of the worst target for him because he can't instantly kill it off, and they really would have preferred the DK. But
armor.
Miracle, get Amanda, try and actually use the illusions to get rid of the bug as quick as he can.
Liquid got 3 runes.
Yeah.
Toby, you gotta keep your eyes on it, man. That's 1,000.
My eyes are watching.
We're almost there.
I'm watching mid lane. Zai comes in. He tries to keep up the cover of Lumicate, but the Sentry was already down from Liquid. And it is the ultimate trap. Mind Control and Miracle combo with the rest of Liquid. 5 heroes mid, ready to push.
Holding this without Dragon Knight is really difficult. He's going to have to buy back if they want to try to defend these middle barracks. Yeah, they might just be giving them away. Dragon Knight buying back when he's this close to BKB is really, really annoying.
Miracle's hunting for another kill. PPD, is this going to be your 9th death of the game? Technically, the 11th, 2 of them were on his terms. Miracle, Chemical Rage, he's trying to hold his way out. There's only got another 2-3 seconds left on it. So he'll run back out through the mid. The tower is gone, so they can attack into the shrine if they want to. It's the toss back. They're getting Miracle in real deep. The drop is perfect. And without the Aegis Immortal, with a big time down, Miracle can be brought down. Matoma's trying to help him out by Clumsy Monster. The Pycat runs through. A huge kill. 703 gold worth of a kill. And they're charging forward. CNC with a stun. Wraith King, he's got 21 charges. Does he want to burn it? Does he want to try and come back to the world of the living? Maybe not, because 33 can't even run away. He'll dodge the stun into the Shadow Realm. And he did actually burn the reincarnation. So Mind Control turns around, trying to take the fight inside. Oh my god, this is not what he wants to be. And Mind Control, he's himself a double kill. Miracle opened up.
Beautiful
and just
bait.
brought down Pycat. You thought it was Optic's fight for a moment.
Bait. He buys back, has the boots of travel, comes in. They overcommit on a Tumba Man. And with these heroes dead, Weaver has to buy back to try and defend this. Miracle feels pretty good about buying back here. In case he does die somehow, what are the odds that Optic can get down a lane and actually start dealing strong damage with Liquid having this much cap control at this moment in time?
Not a lot. That's kind of the sustain to come in from Zai, but Mind Control is just being given one task, make Zai's life a living hell. Both of these supports, you actually see how much they've been focused. 8 deaths on Zai, it's 9 deaths on PPD. They're not even worrying about the cause, they're worrying about the sustain that Optic can give their cause. Delete this, then the cause are an easy thing. We get to see that in one moment again as Miracle happy just to beat down through the melee ranks, and this toss back actually put him in a real rough position as the Aegis timed out.
This is pretty much perfect what Optic did there. They could not have made a better play than this exact one. Tossing the Alchemist as Aegis expires, and still, again, there's so much in the bank. Liquid have so much leeway because of the huge advantage that they have, and Miracle with a great planned play. They had a lot of time to plan this as well, Liquid. Keep it in mind, that kill on the Wraith King took so long that they could communicate, all right, if they overcommit, I can buy back and come back in.
It's a bait, it's an ultimate bait, it's just the illusion. Now the real team of Team Liquid come through, 33. He did break the smoke almost instantly, thanks to the fact that he was there. Miracle got a little way, but then jumping over. Miracle, he jumps in close, but then the way through with Terrorite and Chain Frost. All the damage that Team Liquid need to win this fight. Pycat 33, they just don't have the extra teammates. Pycat, he wants this kill, but he can't even claim Miracle. Denied. Pycat into the tree, they'll get the stun out, and Optic, they're all dead. Tribute LD.
confidence to go in there as Alchemist without ulti. You really need to trust in your team. No!
They call it.
984!
They call it. He's so close to getting it, but it won't happen. The Team Liquid have it. Game 1 against Optic. It looked close, but this Alchemist was a ticking time bomb that exploded on Optic.
They took so much advantage of that last pick and found a beautiful solution to this game. And something that we've seen from Liquid a lot, how well they play around each other. There's these two moments really in the end as well, right? The one is Miracle buys back, comes in, Matumba's baiting. This last fight, Miracle's baiting, Matumba Man comes in. They just play around each other really nicely. I look at this Alchemist, I'm like, you're choosing to take a team fight without Chemical Rage right now?
Yeah.
Didn't matter. They're
Yeah.
too far ahead. They're confident, they know what to do.
He was
Got
so
to go.
far ahead of that. And the amount of damage, like Miracle did 21,000 damage in that game. But it's the fact he almost hit 300 CS, 90 GPM. Like they killed him a couple of times when they managed to isolate him, but then everyone else got space. It's like Liquid, there's just so many problems. They have to try and find a problem. Optic, game 2, cannot wait for it.
Someone who is very good with their mic, however, is Mrs. Casey, who is out amongst the fans, I believe. What are you up to right now, Casey?
I have met some people for whom this is their very first TI. You guys excited? Tell everyone where you're from.
We're from Montreal.
Montreal?
Yeah.
And what do you think so far?
Really nice. It's a really great experience, and I really like this first game with the double deny from Abaddon. This was epic.
I understand, though, that you're all rooting for different teams. Is this going to break your friendship?
Yeah, of course.
I appreciate your honesty. All right, you're rooting for who?
I'm rooting for Fnatic.
OG.
I'm for Liquid, yeah.
Yeah, OG. EG.
Oh, snap. You said you would sing with me.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah, of course.
And dance? Okay.
Yeah! I like it like that.
That was way better than I thought it was going to be. See, this is the best part of TI. Even for those of you watching at home, there are so many people who are experiencing it for the first time. So we like your enthusiasm, right, everyone? Come on. Back to you, Paul.
All right, thank you very much. Keep up the good work. Keep finding fun people. It's good stuff. Right then, we're going to get back to some serious stuff in a minute. They're just waiting for the players to come back out onto the main stage here at TI. Gives us an opportunity to look forward to that second game. Optic have got a bit of work to do here.
Yeah, I think overall adjustments, it's like, wow, they didn't really draft your traditional 5 support, right? So I think that's probably one of the things I'd want to look forward, and just overall, more team fight, more synergy with their draft. It felt a little bit strange from what I've seen from Optic in the last.
Are you surprised by that, God? Do you not feel like they found what worked for them by now?
I think they definitely have an idea, and they came into this with a draft in mind that was going to work for them and cause Liquid some problems. Particularly, Abaddon is a 5, not saying he normally does. So, clear idea. The problem was the X Factor, the 10th pick, the miracle pick. And when it comes to the draft between the two teams, it doesn't matter what happens in those side lanes when you have an Alchemist mid. 9 times out of 10, you win 2 side lanes, you can win the game off of, but the exception is when there's something like an Alchemist there.
Teams heading back to their booths. Right now we're going to have a few more minutes to settle in and get ready for game number 2. A game which Optic Gaming have to win now if they want to take this to a 3rd game and stay alive in the upper bracket. Of course, Liquid looking to make sure they make their way through to the semi-finals. No mistakes this year, Black. That's what a lot of Liquid fans have been saying. We don't want any mistakes. We don't want to underestimate anyone. We don't want to fall into that lower bracket and have to go all the way back through again for a 2nd year in a row.
Yeah, I mean, overconfidence is what kills champions, and I mean, you just saw the player interview or this piece, and they seem completely relaxed. And I mean, they're confident, but they're definitely not overconfident. They're taking everyone seriously, and I mean, you can tell just by how they're acting.
Yeah, I mean, you hang out with GH, he's kind of infectious like that, isn't he? I mean, he brings the best out of Miracles. They're having a lot of fun on that boat.
He is in so many ways the perfect teammate. It's just crazy how good he is for Liquid, how good he could be for any professional Dota team out there. He's just a fantastic guy.
I remember when they first, we had a couple tournaments, I think it was with Boba, right? When they were playing with him before they grabbed GH. And I would see the team talking and everything, and they were kind of quiet guys, some kind of shyness coming out. Then we did the DreamHack tournament, and they come up, they win the tournament, and they come both of them on the panel together. And I was like, these two just seem like kind of like this brotherly relationship.
They have definitely broed, haven't they? They've definitely got a bromance going on there. That's for sure.
Adorable. It was really good.
If Dota doesn't work out for them, they've got a future making like a comedy show thing. Yeah, I want to see a Miracle and GH comedy show.
I would totally tune into that. That'd be brilliant. On the serious side of things, what do you want to see from Optic, though? Do you want to see them go back to what they're good at, what they showed in some of the groups? So those late 5 games that we talked about on the final day of the groups, they looked like they'd figured the meta out. They figured out what was good for them. They didn't care what the other team picked. They were going to pick what they needed to pick.
It kind of feels like they kind of shot themselves in the foot last game with the draft. It's not a very conventional draft. It's probably something they played before, but have they showed us in the tournament anything like this? No, right?
No, I mean, there's only been one Abaddon pick in the entire tournament before that.
I mean, they usually have a very hard fight, right, for Peter?
Yep.
And this was the first time they didn't, and it looked quite it didn't really look as structured as it used to, I think. So that's, I think, the biggest problem they've had this game. They just need to go back to what they're really good at, and then they will take the fight to Liquid.
I mean, talk about PPD, it's famous for his Bane, 128 games on Bane professionally, 4 in the group stage already. That seemed to be kind of his staple. I'll go back to that when we need it. It's kind of good for everything, doesn't really affect the draft too much. just something he can sit on and dictate the play of the game.
Yeah, I think that's a great adjustment. Just getting Peter on that harder 5, harder just full support hero that isn't a melee hero, because that also makes it a little harder. Unless it's Tree. I think Tree might be the
or Undying.
Or Undying. But also, I think 33 is the X factor, because sure, he's an outstanding player, but putting him on a DK, I want to see him playing something
You feel
else.
that stunts him? It doesn't allow him to go out and be expressive and do the things, dictate the play that they need?
I feel it's just like I've seen him play that type of hero before, but I like seeing him on something that can really just take the space if he needs to, and he'll be the space maker. That hero's more so just, all right, I'm going to group up with my team and make some stuff happen, rather than like an Enigma who's just going to dominate and make some flashy plays.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because his hero picks so far, Gods, they've been a bit weird. Nature's Prophet 3 times, 3 on Ursa, 2 on Mirana, 2 on Enigma, and then obviously now 2 on Dragon Knight as well. That's what we're used to from him, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of his old cheesier picks, as people would say, kind of fallen out, like the Visage, the Lycan. I actually think Lycan's a hero they should consider in Game 2, because for me, I think Optic are a bit outclassed. Liquid, returning TI champions, they've got more experience to me. They're just a bit higher skilled in certain roles, and I think if you want to beat them, you have to outdraft them. You have to use something to catch them by surprise, which is what they were trying to do in Game 1. The problem is sometimes you go for those crazy drafts, it backfires, you have this Abaddon, it doesn't work out. They need to try that again. They need to pick out like a first 2 Brood. They need to do something, a Lycan draft. I don't think they can beat Liquid playing a straight up game.
Black, agree, disagree?
I mean, I told you I'm the certified Liquid fanboy, so I don't think
Well, you're a certified Liquid fanboy and a certified Lich fanboy. We've
mean,
already established that today.
I always tell you, man, Lich anti-mage middle is
You had to get the AM in there somehow, didn't you? This was always going to come back to farming, wasn't it?
Anytime I hear this man talk about Lich, it's not about Lich. He's like, you know now, because anti-mage got a turn rate buff, you can actually get an extra attack. And I'm like, how does he always just bring it back to anti-mage?
The legend that is the AN player in the team as well. Gods, what do you want to see in this second draft from Optic?
Yeah, something cheesier. The
maybe a
Lycan
Brood?
33. I think the Lycan is being underpicked here. If you can get like a 4th, 5th pick Lycan, we saw a few of these teams in one of the elimination matches. Serenity busted out, so I would love to see something like that. Other than that, pick strong lanes and just try and outplay Liquid.
All right, let's get into it. Game number 2, ladies and
10
gentlemen.
seconds remaining. Optic Gaming's turn to bat.
Team Liquid versus Optic Gaming. Game 2.
Optic Gaming's turn to ban.
The group stages, but I remember us we were doing Vici Storm and we're like looking at all the games and we're like, Vici Storm, they were second pick every single game that they won. Their first 5 games in a row that they won, they were second pick, and then the first game right away when they lost, they were actually first pick. So I think the second pick really does put a bit of a factor in.
I mean, it suits a team like that, right? Because you have the resolution, because it also is like 10th pick monster.
Yeah.
You have this miracle, the 10th pick monsters. If you have these 10th pick monsters in your team, it really makes sense to get the second pick if you're not really scared of anything.
Yeah.
We spoke about the Venge, obviously at the very beginning of the day. It is a very popular pick for both teams, and Liquid in particular. Venge has been picked 5 times by GH, 4 by Kuro in the 16 games of the group stages, so they can mix this up a little bit.
It is an insane hero actually now.
Remaining.
Like, not only can you save your core, you can also amplify his damage output, and whenever your farm core dies, he actually hits the hero for 5 seconds, 6 seconds.
It's a long time, and it gives vision too, and it's very, it's super fast, the little illusion that chases you. It's
How much damage does it deal? 100%?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
This looks like it's going to be a 33 early pick.
33 profit, most likely. Zai Tiny, I would
Maybe.
guess.
They've played it 3 different ways, so they've also played CC has also played it as well.
There it is. Wow.
There's the we talked about, are we going to get early cheese?
Brood into Tiny is quite brave though.
Yeah, but I think it's also into the Nature's Prophet as well,
Yeah,
right? Like
course,
Brood versus Furion, or versus Nature's Prophet is really
good.
tough versus for the Furion.
And Brood Venge together is really good.
Yeah.
PPD's seen that coming, surely.
probably considered. I think this is one way you can play when you're first pick, rather than play around that 10th pick of the draft where you win the game with that. Your second pick, you can pick a hero like Brood and then ban out the counters, and then it's a lot easier to kind of get this really strong pick early on, and it doesn't get banned out.
And then you're not getting telegraphed either with the bans, because obviously I think there are some specific bans when you ban them. It's kind of the other thing goes, oh, they've got the Brood last pick, we'll just ban it last.
Has Liquid put it in the safe lane at all, or has it just been ran mid by Matu? Just mid, right?
I'm sure they can, but I think it was just mid this tournament, yeah.
Yeah, they haven't. They've played it 4 times, all with Matumba.
On mid lane, right?
On mid lane, though.
Yes.
I think so, yeah. So I think one of the heroes...
I didn't see all of his games, but I believe so.
But it's so hard to shut down mid Brood, though. Like, even if you counter him, he will just out-farm you.
I noticed a few that were, at least in the group stages, that I thought were a little closer, but I remembered back to Summit where I saw the Monkey King versus the Brood. I think that's one matchup of his in the mid lane that's dominant, and then the Kunkka. The Kunkka is actually insane versus the Brood.
Have you, was there a lot of Timber as well in the past?
I mean, Timber just I
know it's a little bit out of the meta right now, isn't it? But it does provide some of the tools, doesn't it?
It's hard because the Brood just avoids you. Like, he'll farm behind your tower, he farms your Ancients. Ancients still give a lot of gold, unlike the rest of the nudes, so that's kind of where Brood's big edge is.
And you get to a point where the Brood will just farm to the late game, and then you have a Timber in late game versus this heavy-hitting Brood that doesn't really care so much anymore.
Ban out the Pugna, instantly take up the Necrophos. Of course, Liquid loves to play that offlane Pugna on Mind Control. So very good ban there. Oh. I mean, it's not super strong against either of the 2 heroes they have right now, because a lot of the Broods actually like go into like a lot of survivability now.
Yeah, Necro's been super popular here, combined 135 picks of bans on this hero during this event. 91% have featured Necro in some form.
What is the win rate though?
His win rate is 47.5. That's 40 games, which is great, but it's not terrible.
Yeah, it's a good.
Yeah. It's one of those heroes that like every team's been picking and playing, like even some of the weaker teams of the tournament, so sounds about right.
I wonder if Liquid's looking at something like the Batrider here, because it's amazing versus Necro, and it's so good versus Nature's Prophet in the overall grand scheme of the game.
So is Earth Spirit.
So is Earth Spirit.
Instant silence, that stun.
Yeah.
Very good to pressure the Necrophos.
Yep.
Started creeping back in as well.
It's like also a ganking here. When you have this Brood mid, if you can get a rotation when you get that big spiraling on me up, you get to get free kills.
Yeah.
Free kill and free tower probably too. Yeah.
I'm still really liking. I was thinking Nyx Assassin or Earth Spirit there for exchange, and then I think the Batrider still for the offlaner could be really strong for them though.
For Optic, I think they should or kind of have to put Tiny middle now. He's not really afraid of the Brood at all, and you can't really rotate on him with an Earth Spirit either. So I think the Tiny mid should be quite locked until they, unless they want to counter pick it with another hero.
What do you think about them saving their supports then for the last 2 picks? That's a little bit change.
That is very interesting indeed, yeah. I mean, we have seen support profit.
Yeah, support profit.
Yeah, that's
possible.
To like secure your safe lane or even off lane.
That's true.
I also feel like
side played that though?
These 3 cores just don't really like look that scary.
Makes no sense, right?
Yeah, it almost feels like one of them needs to be a support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Radiant's turn to pick.
And that's the thing, Optic have this last pick of the draft. They don't want to lock into, picking their 3 cores and saving supports for their 2 last picks. Like, you're just not utilizing second pick well if that's the case.
CM's one of those that has returned. We thought it might. It was, there's a lot of people talking about this, wasn't there, before the group stage started, pondering whether mana, is it going to be important? Well, how do you fit in with that? How does it fit around the draft? Is it worth still picking? It's definitely proved the case.
Yep. I think just the popularity of some of these others have overshadowed the Crystal Maiden. It's just like these Venge Miranas, Wraith Kings, and then we took down a few little, down a little bit more. Then we have the CM still picked behind with a decent win rate.
Still 47 picks with 51.06 win rate, so yeah, pretty decent.
There were a lot of memes about her, right? It's just like a global clarity potion.
Yeah.
But right now, if you maxed at Nova early, your lane pressure is actually insane.
You're the range creep secure, and you're the global clarity.
Exactly. Now you're 2 things. How much damage is Nova level 1? 100? 130?
130.
130, yeah.
Yeah, it matches the mana now. They changed that one back after Summit.
Yeah. So they're probably not going to pick Miracle Seer last, because there's honestly no difference when they pick it 4th or 5th, if your first pick. So what could be a good Miracle Hero here? I personally like Invoker, if they want to go down that.
We might
but it's like the mid-Brood probably, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the Brood mid.
Yeah.
Still Bloodseeker in the pool, that's been picked quite a lot against the Necrophos.
Phantom Lancer potentially.
Yeah, that's actually been one of the sleeper heroes here, you know. 26 picks and a 61.54% win rate.
Because usually he gets picked quite late, and then the game is very good for them.
Dire's bad.
I've seen them do the bat versus the Necro so many times.
It's really good.
It's just amazing. And then with the Earth Spirit thrown on top, you have such good kill threat on the laning phase. So now it's like Liquid's they're looking to hunt for this lane. So you're probably going to see them scout very early on just to get this Batrider versus Necro matchup. And the beauty also is that he might also be versus a Nature's Prophet. So it's like a double benefit.
Either way, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Like, even if they put both Necro and Prophet as cores, demolish both lanes.
Yeah, he's very happy about that.
You definitely have to go away from the Prophet core now, I think. There's way too many good heroes against him right now. Get the position for Prophet. Does Sai play that? Has he played it? Probably has.
I'm thinking back to when it was at the DAC era, when we saw the rise of the Nature's Prophet. I don't know if he played it.
Well, you can definitely do it. He played a lot of offlane Prophet back in this time.
Yeah,
so.
if you really want, you can just play 4 position CM and put the Prophet as a 5 as well.
It also works, yeah.
It's kind of a similar concept, just depending where you want the heroes to land.
Always love myself some BKB freezing field fights.
Versus Venge and Bat, kind of tough though.
Yeah, and then you get swapped and you're like, oh no.
Is the Radiant back?
So Optic they
they might carry Ricky.
Just in case.
Yeah. It's also, I mean, versus Necro.
Very good.
Necro is all about getting your Ghost Shard out. If you're silenced this early, it actually could be pretty scary with the Venge as well. Like the Venge is what can enable that Ricky to really just pop off. That's
yeah, we've seen 3 Rickies so far, only 1 win during the group stage.
Honestly, Liquid has a lot of heroes to choose from.
They've got a good mix in their lab draft. Like they've got teamfight, they've got magical, physical. While I look at Optic, I feel like they really lack physical right now between the heroes. It's mostly magical.
Yeah, the only thing they have is like a tiny or physical.
Yeah,
that's not a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
What they could be looking for. Their draft is so well rounded already.
It is.
Probably just a strong laner that doesn't suffer too much from a Prophet tiny dual lane potentially.
I was thinking something maybe like a... I don't want to throw it out, but I was going to say something like a Sven, because...
Sven is really good. Level 15 talent, you can dispel the Ghost Shroud as well.
Right, what are they?
Dire's turn to
Okay.
So we think the...
Safer.
Yeah.
And it's PL.
Yeah.
Okay.
Phantom Lancer.
So that's the lane that they want to get the PL versus the Batrider.
Right.
If PL gets farmed, they're going to win this game. Like late game, they have nothing against the PL. Unless they jump in first, which is incredibly difficult to do with them.
All right, boys, it's that time one more time. 60 seconds of stats. Miracle delivered big time for Liquid in that last game. That 12-minute, 20-second Radiance was in the top 20 all-time in over 1,000 pickups in Pro Dota 2 LAN play. In this game, Optic has to control that early game. Necrophos in this tournament, 15-10 record in games that end before 40 minutes, only 5-12 in games that go late. But there are 2 sides to every story, and that Matumbaman Brood is going to be the problem throughout. He is 7-1 on that hero in TI LAN play. Nobody else has more than 3 wins. Guys, the backs are against the wall for the North American team in the upper bracket. Paul, what do you think?
Thank you very much. Yes, good stuff. I'm glad he managed to elaborate in that. Time to head over to our commentary duo for game number 2, ladies and gentlemen. It's Syndra and Toby 1.
Well, what a game. Syndra and Lou were sitting here during the drafting phase, and you were like, we're going to have, actually, you went, we're going to have Brood Mother as the second pickup, and you were nailing every single one. You knew what Liquid were going to do.
It's a slight exaggeration.
Okay, you knew 3 out of 5 as they were coming up, but Liquid looked like they were almost predictable. Optic, like, are they in a good spot? Like, can they utilize this draft to force us into a game 3?
So what I think happened here is that Liquid are drafting a specific pattern that we saw during the groups, and they get these really good core matchups for their Batrider with the Earth Spirit that we've also seen them play. And I'm just looking at, okay, what can Optic actually do in this position? They need a hero that can lane against that Bat. They need a hero that's also good against Brood. That last pick, Phantom Lancer, seems like a good choice, but it's also decent against that goes late. The Phantom Lancer as well as Necro will do great, but can they get there? You've seen Matumbaman just destroy this mid-game timings of enemy teams, so against Brood. Doesn't have the best track record exactly against this team.
It really doesn't, because the Broodmother just dominates the mid lane totally. And in the current meta, where it's this 2-1-2, bringing someone in to help out the mid lane normally means you're going to lose one of your side lanes. And then you've got 2 heroes to worry about, and then you still can't instantly deal with the Broodmother. They don't have great scouting methods for them. They can deal with what Brood throws at them, but beyond that, more questions start to be asked. But with Team Liquid, if they win this game, they're into top 6 for TIA.
Yep.
That's guaranteed position. That's the big advantage as well of being in this quarterfinal in the winners bracket. Top 6 of TI, you're already very satisfied. Obviously, Liquid, they won't decide until they've got the whole win. And a good start would be killing off PyCat.
Yeah, this is maybe one of
TH. Rolling boulder will connect. Kuro's got the magic missile. Gang already. PyCat wants the real one. They can't work it out. They magic missile and attack the wrong one. He just auto running to the left.
Nice bait.
Oh, it's just like, we're going to start this way with Optic every single time. Such a simple fight.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I was gonna make a final comment on it. We don't really get to see it just yet, but this Ursa versus Phantom Lancer matchup is one we've seen a couple of times during the groups, I would say. And Liquid picking the Ursa in the position that they did, I think they were anticipating this Lancer pick. I think they were expecting that this would happen, and they're willing to take the risk. In my mind, Ursa is actually a decent hero against Phantom Lancer at specific timings in the game, just because Fury Swipes, once you get it on the real PO, he doppelgangers, it sticks. You can follow him very easily and bring him down with this heavy chase that they have from Earth Spirit Rider, and you can even swap him back in with the Venge. So I think it makes a lot of sense. However, later on, Lancer is a problem a lot of the time for this Ursa hero.
Yeah, because then there's just so many of them. They're going to be burning off the banner if he decides to get a Diffusal Blade. Whole bunch of problems for him. Top lane, I think it's going to be a lot of problems for Optic Gaming. It's already the aggression of Kuro. Rolling boulder is actually blocked by Zai. He's doing a lot of damage to GH. PPD has much more to give apart from his life. The Nova does connect, but GH already beginning his cell. They've taken so much damage yet to dump first blood. If they can get more, the Earth Shock comes in from Miracle. Remember, he went that level 1, but 33's Death Pulse, chasing him into the tree line. They need a little bit more damage, a little bit more reveal. The attack gets the armor low from Zai, and with the Nova, the slow down Miracle finds the kill. There's still a pesky Earth Spirit behind the lines. And thanks to this being 1 minute into the game, the respawns are quick, and you know they're going to just open up again.
And we have here is one of the situations that we haven't had very much during this tournament. It's actually a 3-1-1 setup for both teams. Currently, the Batrider playing a 1-on-1 against the Phantom Lancer. Optic did have to pay a decent amount of experience to bring down the Phantom Lancer to this bottom lane, but they do end up getting the lane matchup that they want. They don't want Ursa against that Lancer, and they definitely do want their Lancer against the Batrider. Necrophos against Batrider, unplayable lane.
GH is already TP'd down towards bottom lane, so yeah, PL, not what he wants to have. He'll back up for now, away from the ES. Thanks to Dire Observer Ward that was already down from Optic. They're already very well aware of this rotation. That's when you got the flexibility of a hero like Nature's Prophet. Could bounce anywhere across the map. This Nature's Prophet can just change the balance of the lanes very quickly without having to rotate very early on. So now it's Miracle, who's not going to get much out of the lane. 1 CS in 2 minutes. This is the opposite of his game 1.
And Ursa's not really the greatest comeback hero. If you have an atrocious lane, decent amount of time to catch up in that jungle. We'll see how it goes for him so far. Like you said, Optic have a pretty good grip on this top lane. Just, I think this matchup is, it's weird, right? The Ursa against Necrophos. Ghost Shroud is amazing against Ursa, but at the same time, Ursa one of the hardest burst heroes. So if you have Ghost Shroud on cooldown or you're stunned, Ursa can make quick work of you. But obviously, Vengeful, they have no kill potential up here right now.
GH is in. Hold her up, PPD. As all great CMs do, goes Frost Nova as well as the Arcane Aura, so Crystal Nova, sorry, then the Arcane Aura. So no Frostbite to stun him up. But at least makes GH burn his consumable. He's got 3 stick charges and a clarity to work with.
The thing I talked about last game with this Liquid team that they have...
Oh, Drop off the Zai. Kuro and Miracle opening up for him. Zai beginning the TP, and TP out!
Bottom lane too.
Yeah, they're going out. Multiple targets. PyCat. So Prophet escapes. PyCat will not. PPD now under the Firefly. Twisting Napalm on him. He's got Nova off cooldown now, so wants to turn around at least dish out something. As he'll salve up.
This is going to be one of those games that you see where if you have this view on Liquid that, oh, they just set up Miracle for the perfect game and he carries every game. That's not how this team necessarily works in their games. This time around, they have way more emphasis on getting Matumbaman on his Broodmother off to a good start, and Mind Control will be doing a lot of work. Bottom lane again, Firefly's up.
They really keep going every time the fire's there. Great kick from GH, 5 more time. PPD with a 3 sticky napalm charge. Not even Pycat. Maybe he can get a revenge, and he will onto Mind Control.
That's a very important kill.
314 gold for Pycat, and obviously it's a support kill going the other way.
Yep. A lot of experience too. Mind Control in this situation was level 4. So Pycat is kind of eating out the lane now as far as experience goes. On the gold, still a slight disadvantage, but he has a way with his power. So it's going to even out. Just this one exchange doing a lot for Optic in that bottom lane.
We haven't even really looked. Okay, we can look towards top lane. This is just a simple initiation go shroud as well as the bump, but that's why you've got that Earth Shock slow down 33. One more fist pump would do it for 33. The movement speed with the death pulse. Miracle's real low, but he has the damage required to get the kill. Zai doesn't have the vision, so Miracle can just out back up again. While that was happening on bottom lane, there was another kill onto PPD. Mind Control and GH copying a lot of damage, but they're there for the 5-minute bounty runes.
Crystal Maiden is a very slow hero. 277 move speed. PPD is nowhere near getting boots. So this Bad Rider Earth Spirit, just hyper aggression, is difficult for the Crystal Maiden to deal with. Is this 4 runes?
It's 4 bounty runes.
Oh, that is bad news for Optic.
This is some really good money in for Team Liquid, and it's actually repaired a little bit of the damage of the net worth between CCNC and Matumbaman. Because CCNC's been having a really great mid lane. Yeah, the CS looks a little bit better for the Broodmother. CCNC's got majority of these as lane creeps, as well as a couple of extra spiders.
We've seen Matumbaman play this lane, I think, twice before this tournament, however, and if he plays against this Tiny, he's willing to lose a little bit. That's how the lane goes. He's just farming jungle and getting the job done later.
A rolling boulder going in under the bottom lane. Pycat was able to doppelganger dodge it, so Mind Control and GH will not get the initiation they want. And Optic's been really posturing on the top, looking to bring down Miracle. He's got 9 stick charges available. It was Zai looking for the range harassment onto him, or at least put him in some level of peril that Necro can make the most of. Something Ursa should probably be a little bit more scared of too is when that side is up for Necro. Great trap on bottom. They came in with a Sprout. Firefly from Mind Control had to be used to try to body block it up with the Treant. Won't happen. Pycat jumps in deeper. He's still got to land. Lost vision for half a second. So Mind Control does return back to his tier 1 tower.
That is a rotation from Optic that they gain nothing out of, really. And it puts Necro in this awkward position where he has to play a bit safer now. He can actually die up here now that Liquid know. Oh, Peter.
Well, this is a chance for the Malcolm Ward, especially when GH can land that 3-man kick. Mind Control has the fire right on top of them. They're gonna kill off GH in return. He gets, really, he actually gets the silence off. Doppelganger route. Mind Control has to slow him down. Zai already has 3 sticky napalm charges on him. PPD will arrive. He's got Frostbite developed, but he just can't close the distance. Pycat needs to slow down Mind Control with the lance to then bring PPD closer. But even then, it's 276 with the 277 movement speed. Now you got Nova, but Mind Control's got the distance and the 1 charges to survive.
And GH brings in the Tranquils and refills the bottom. So it looked like, okay, at least they got some good pressure out. Nope, PPD's not going to be expecting this.
Boulder back in again. PPD was at least able to dodge the rolling boulder in, but it's just going from bad to worse for him. He's 0 now for 5. Again, being the majority of Liquid's kills.
It's a really, really hard game for Maiden, to be fair, in this early game when you get this laning. Badlancer is good against Bad Rider, but this exchange of just the supports being in the lane, Maiden is food for this game.
Zai looking to try and engage. 33 is really close to level 6, but he's too far off. He needs more creeps to die. So now the attack comes in from Miracle. Ghost Shroud's still available, but he's already burned his stick charges and doesn't have Death Pulse up just yet. So Kuro keeps the vision up as, well, Miracle wants to salve and get back into the fight, but level 6 is there, but there's no mana for the Reaper's side. Prophet has to come back in again. Miracle just can't try and get away from these Treants, but then the stun is there from Kuro. Zai's arriving. Sprout can actually lock up Kuro. The distance, the science is up. Kuro won't die, and then maybe the last attack. It is there from 33. The regeneration gets to arrive. That's why he popped up the Ghost Ride. That's Miracle losing armor, but that first damage. Oh, almost bringing down Zai, but it's a big kill for 33. 2 of them, in fact.
Such a close game. Maiden Aura. That's that global clarity. It actually made the difference. 33 got his Reaper in time.
Oh, bottom lane. Hey, Maiden can stay alive for a little bit longer. He's okay.
He's fine this time.
There's too much harassment actually coming in to Mind Control when he goes in this deep now. Should have also flagged at mid lane. Tier 1 tower was
CC
brought
on
down
tower.
by CC and C. This is closing up the area that Matubman has to play in. Obviously, you can still move very fast inside of the webs.
This is what you want to do if you're playing against Brood. If you can't hunt Brood and kill it, at least put pressure on the tower constantly so you get something out of it. Either Brood has to go back and fend, which costs farm, or you just get that free map control. And very nice from CC. Oh, he's not going to find him here. It looks like he's waiting for it, but Matumba.
GH, they're going again on bottom lane. Pykat's going to use his doppelganger. He's just trying to get away. It's a good stack. That's why Mind Control has that Firefly down with the Sticky Napalm level 4. Just try and burn through it. PPD will probably try and time this over right if he can catch GH out in the tree line. CCNC even comes in looking for this. And Zai, TP's in, but he doesn't get the sprout.
Didn't get the right angle on the... I think this is not where he wanted to teleport in. He teleported in a bit of an awkward spot and had to try to blind cast the Sprout. Not having boots on the Nyx's Prophet either. This lineup is actually moving pretty slowly across the board. Nobody has good move speed in their team.
Nice toss in from CCNC. He actually threw his tree and I think got like 10 CS of spiders with one swing. Really trying to make sure that Matubman doesn't have a free time. They've even got the Observe Ward block.
Timer Optic will get bounty rinse, so that's good news. Looks like an even trade-off for 2.
Yep, bottom lane though, Mind Control looking for the kill. Plan, lasso on the running. PL, he can get a doppelganger away. Rolling boulder, they get the control. So long, and PPD, mercy. The Crystal Maiden is now 0-6. And life is very hard for her, but it's the diminishing returns. There has to be diminishing returns eventually on this. Maybe with the Haster and CCNC can work with Zion. They have the Observer Ward down. They're looking for the Brood. But Matumba's in pretty deep.
He's playing this very well. Has a good read on what's going on.
Rolling boulder in, looking for a double. Kick is going to not be there. They're going to magnetize the set. Oh, the kick is still there. CCNC can't escape from this. Toss was still on cooldown. Sakura swapping Zion back into the fight. And then the perfect body block and control. The Tubman's been keeping up, but now he's ahead. Number 1 on the network with those 2 kills.
I've talked about this during the group stage as a similar a concept that you see some teams play better than others. I think Liquid's one of the absolute best at this, is playing around your strong heroes. They take advantage of... You see, they realize, okay, Miracle's not in the best position in this game. We're going to help him a bit, and then we will put so much pressure on the rest of the map that Miracle gets to be a force in this game. He didn't really truly have to play comeback just because how much they played around Mind Control and now around the Brood of Matumba.
Pykat looking for a GH, just so damn good. Mind Control is behind aware of this on the trees. They want to go in deep. GH wild rolling boulder this time gets him into safety at least. But his kicks have been totally on point.
And it just seems so logical, right, when you look at it. We have this strong hero that can do something right now. We should take advantage of this, play to that hero's strengths, so we get fights. And in turn, if we do it properly, it relieves pressure on the other lanes. And that's basically what's given Miracle this he's almost back to 3rd net worth in this game.
Nice Sprout reveal on bottom. Mind Control. The fortification of the Dire creeps. It keeps the Tier 1 tower alive in middle, which is what Matubman is trying to take at the moment. It was allowing them a little bit more pressure onto the Tier 1 tower with the rotation of CCNC. You kind of hope they would get more out of this.
Yep.
But it doesn't happen for an Optic Fam. Pykat just TP's back into farm. He is going to go that Diffuser Blade after the Tread Sequela.
This Vanguard on Mind Control is actually really good. When you're snowballing this hard from the league stage, you just look at, okay, how can I be the biggest pestilence in fights that they can't deal with? Largely he can ignore Trance, largely he can ignore the PL illusions, and just this early on, they are not killing him without a Reaper, I think. And Necrophos doesn't want to go there. So he can feel very confident. I'm curious to see if Mind Control goes for a dagger now, or if he even goes just a full-on combat build with Vanguard and Pipe, and just runs into them and fight. It's like, try to kill me. I have a swap guy.
He can get the Blink Dagger later if they really require it. That's what will allow him to at least catch up to Zai. And Zai's a threat, but a threat you can see coming from a very long way away. Mind Control maybe thinks about the fight, and Nova will scare him off. Again, Matubman attacks it towards the mid. Pykat was there, looking for a denial. Has to doppelganger himself away. Matubman already burned off the Insatiable Hunger. 33 TPs over. Kuro's nearby. But they don't have extra support. Zai's currently farming up inside the Radiant jump in.
And it might not look that big, but this TP from 33 is actually going to matter quite a lot. If he gets spotted on a ward, I think they saw him in the river, so now they know he's crossing toward bottom. And this is Miracle's cue to just play aggressive top. Knows there's no Necropulse here. He TP mid. There's no other way he could have gotten here in time, so you just redistribute your resources. Sure, you guys can have the bottom tower. You, in some way, you kind of argue they over-rotated. They brought 4 heroes down here.
Great ops. Mind Control instantly has his smoke being broken, and Optic do want to try and fight. As he said, like, they have their own observer board. 33 will walk under it. T1 tower was lost on bottom. CCNC has Blink Dagger ready to initiate. But he's not finding his target, so they instead add pressure on the bottom lane. Mop up the creep wave, push the tier 2 tower a little bit. But Liquid are happy with this. Straight Roshan trade-off. Optic Gaming are nearby, but they cannot contest this. They do not have the power.
Brood and Ursa is such an exceptional Roshan combo. Very easy. They put it on Matumba, man. This Brood is getting ready to rock and roll. They know he's the richest hero in the game. And arguably a better hero to have Aegis on than Ursa. Usually Ursa with Aegis, it can be a little bit tricky, like which life do you enrage? It's similar to when you have BKB. To BKB your first or second life.
Bottom lane attacks coming in. They need to get that stun control and then follow up with the Reaper's Sight. Mind Control is taking enough damage just yet. He's so damn attacking the Mon charges too. They'll get the lasso out. So Karyu just has to remain for a moment. They swap inside. No escape for him. He's not even beginning his TP. He just remains stationary. And Optic lose too. They do not claim that bottom tower, and they don't even in any way threaten the Aegis.
Oh, looks like the Aegis comes in front of them. Found the wrong one. Good again by Pycat. If the right one gets found there, he actually dies. Matumba can easily solo this Phantom Lancer after Doppelganger has been expended. We were looking at this stronger. Exactly. We were looking at this game and we're looking at, okay, Optic, you need to get this Phantom Lancer to a strong state in the late game and not lose full control of the map on the way there. And Liquid are just dominating them. Again, it's a huge advantage. And especially Lancer not doing better than this in lane hurts, because you, ideally at this point, you want to have this Diffusal completed. So he's like 1,000 to 2,000 gold behind par for the course, I would say. And
they're going at the top. Miracle jumps in, goes up the side. The Sprout pushes Miracle, or pushes him away and leaves Miracle contained. But so easy to cut out. Always with fully bladed. But Necro has to help defend. The Death Pulse can chase the spiders.
And that's all Matumba wanted. Dire take forever. He was hoping.
And toss, they'll combo together nicely to get the kill. And problematic. Sets her up. Is his defensive one.
Overwhelmed. Again, GH combining with Matumba. GH has been in 15 kills in 17 minutes on this stretch. Just really excellent read on the map, like where he can have the biggest impact. He plays with the Bat Rider for a long time. They trash that lane. He's like, okay, that's good enough. Let's go and play with Matumba, man, who just got the Diffusal. They get these kills mid. It's just very systematic good play, really.
Yep.
There's not much else to say. They're doing all the right things.
Do they take out all the remaining out of towns? Like, do they continue to look for fights before they go high ground?
I think they grab the top tier 2 at least. These bottom towers are pretty annoying to get to. The distance from the bottom tier 2 of their own to that tower, it's a very long reach. When you've taken Roshan, it's a better play because then the enemy team can't really trade off by going for Rosh while you're pushing these bottom towers really far away. But they don't really have that much value right now. I think they'd rather take the top tower and then go there, if anything. Or if they're feeling confident, they can look to even high ground from the top area.
It's a smart
game. We'll see what they do.
They're coming after Miracle on top lane. Pycat will need to slow him down. But the ping is already on the way. So Kura's pinging it out. They have a lot of vision around that bottom Dire Shrine. That's why Matumba is just farming that area. So the ping came in. Vision closed. The Nova, it does not clip Miracle.
Sixth sense there for Miracle. When you go for smokes like these, every second matters because it becomes more and more apparent what Optic are doing. Brood is covering the right side of the map with an Observer Ward placed by Kuro. The mid lane is empty and nobody's at the bottom tower. So where could Optic possibly be? I think Miracle there I thought he was going to back earlier. He really stretched that as far as he could without getting caught. But the right read, and they will be going for the bottom tower after all. So now that they've forced the Optic team to go top to Miracle, who was just pressuring this tower to, well, if you guys don't come here, I'm going to take the tower. If you do, we'll just swap to the other side of the map. He'll grab at least one here, maybe two. We'll see in the top lane.
Speeds up towards the top lane. He came into the tier 2 tower. Kuro will arrive with mind control. No blink dagger available, so lands from Pycat. Tries to slow it down. He doesn't have any. The three can't really save him. Promise coming in from the rear. They'll lasso and drag Pycat down. Now he's got Doppelganger available. The kick and silence is pretty good from GH, but there's a lot more support rising in from Optic. GH in the tree line doesn't think they can, but CCNC was for Avalanche on the Miracle with CCNC interrupted with the magic missile. On Kuro, Miracle just has to enrage and TP out, and somehow GH is still running away from Pycat all the way up on the north. 33 can't find his own target, makes for the Euro Scepter, looking to bring down Kuro. Reaper Sights is still available. Finally, the kill happens up on the top. Liquid heavily slipped. Mind control goes dug into Flame go to 33. He'll go strong to get that regeneration outside, finishes off the tower. And get closer. However, maybe when PPD is this slow, they can actually do it. He has to frostbite and run to the side. CCNC's got combination available. PPD will finally drop, and they just want to leave the Reaper Sights on the bottom. They find the kill onto Matumba. A huge kill down for so long, and a huge amount of money in for 33.
Matumba was down here this whole fight. He didn't TP to his team, just splitting the map.
Oh, Zai, money. Oh, okay.
No money.
He stopped to summon trees.
Well, it's actually hard to kill this courier because it has a plate mail. That's pretty convenient, right? It doesn't hit very hard when you have a plate mail on it. Well, the Brute's damage bottom, I would say, is worth a death. He took the tier 2 and 1/3 of the tier 3. There might have been a time there for Matumba Man to back out, but what he did force was the rotation from both the PL and the Necro to come down there, and that's what secured Liquid that fight in the end. Had he escaped that without losing his life, it would have been very clean from him, but mistakes do happen.
Yep. You actually have a quick look at this fight again up on top. So underneath the tier 1 tower, CCNC already forced a retreat, but they just wanted to force this so hard.
You see Miracle casting the Enrage there in anticipation for Scythe, but that makes 33 hesitate for a moment. His blink comes off cooldown, he gets out. Now he uses they catch this Venge, but they can't Reaper him, and I don't think he wants to either. Good thing for 33 he didn't actually. He ends up using that bottom to kill that Broodmother.
Yeah. I wonder what this fight would have been like if PL didn't go chasing after a support. Have a breather.
Why am I so greedy? That's the face of the guy saying, why am I so greedy?
Some of them, he's meant to be the unbridled aggression. They could get to their farming. Zai with Wrath of Nature just keeps pushing out the lanes. And this is where Optic can stall things up. The fact that Nature's Prophet, he's finished up a Spirit Vessel. He can keep the side lanes going. They've got great wave clear Optic. But pushing high ground is a very risky thing for Liquid. One person goes down to Reaper's Scythe. They're dead for a very long time. Want to commit the buyback? Sure, but it's Optic who can defend quite comfortably from range.
If they hold out long enough, this Phantom Lancer will be pretty scary. So absolutely, that is...
He's catching up on the net worth. He's almost the same as the Teleport. They go towards the mid, but Kuro has the distance.
They didn't have enough information about the position of all the Radiant heroes to commit for that kill, and it's also a low value kill anyway, so they don't want to risk anything to get this Venge. Quick again with a good map read.
But Matumba waiting for a fight. He's just sitting on top of this Ancient for the last maybe like 20-25 seconds. Pushed out an Observer Ward. Zai actually did that on the other side of the trees, so Matumba shouldn't be aware of it.
Yep.
Oh, he's looking for someone to come and farm.
He is lurking. This is pretty dangerous if he just goes up and
goes out to CCNC. Avalanche and Toss will kill off his army with the Wrath of Nature. Matumba just turns on the Insatiable Hunger Plank.
That's a bit crazy.
Underneath the shrine. When there's extra support, Mind Control's got Blink and PPD. Not again, not like this. He's going to be shot. Raptor is back, and the Crystal Maiden is mauled.
This play is really similar to the Alchemist play from last game where Miracle didn't ulti, or didn't have it, and ran at the enemy team. It's like, Matumba, this looks like such an awful position. Like it looks like he's overdiving. The whole team is behind him in a smoke, and Optic actually with a really good read to not commit for that Brood kill. You see, you're just looking at the situation like this is kind of a crazy dive. Where's everybody else?
Yep. And they gain the trade-off in the meantime. 33 pushing out his he wants to get out of here. Zai will die, and 33 won't have to take the same sacrifice, but he has an Aghanim Scepter fully completed 24 minutes in on 33.
Could be a big item. They still have the problem of getting the heroes down to half health in the first place.
Yeah.
But once they get over that step, it will get interesting. So CCNC with a Shadow Blade should be able to do that on most of the Radiant cores. And obviously Pikecat with just 1 or 2 extra items. Time is ticking. Liquid are not actually gaining. Look at the gold graph. It's
plateauing.
It's been 6 minutes and they're not really making progress. That's not necessarily a problem for now, but if they do take a bad fight, it could become problematic. This Roshan should belong to them.
Yeah.
And then we'll see what they choose to do with it, if they try to high ground or not. It's
and that's the big enabler, right? Like Team Liquid need to have this Aegis and cheese so they can just go high ground so they can take the fight that you're talking about.
And I think the key in this coming fight is that Mind Control tries to find Necrophos. If he manages to do that, that would be really big. For him, though, he doesn't have a he went for a way more teamfight heavy, less skirmishy item build. If he does catch this Necro, counterplay is available. He can't force staff the Necro into his team, so he's got to be a little bit careful with how he goes about it. You don't want to lasso Tiny, because it lasts 1 second.
Yep.
And Phantom Lancer is a pretty difficult catch, so it should be pretty clear that he wants...
He is going to be revealed by this Observer Wall. So it's going to get caught. GH with their support, and PPD for once is not the man who's dying. Oh, no. Okay. He flew the other direction, almost full on cast curse.
PPD was aware that all their lockdown was used, both lasso and kick, I believe, went into that kill on the Nation Prophet, so was able to get out. Miracle.
Yeah, he's got that Observer Ward just watching the PL Illusions farming. This very thick coverage of the Dire jungle. And wherever there isn't a ward, there's a GH or there's a Broodmother.
Alright.
Manta Style is done for the Phantom Lancer.
Pikeat's starting to get somewhere now. He's still, I think his next item, if he gets that without them losing more than maybe 1 lane of barracks, this game could get really interesting for Optic. But it's a big if. They're 12,000 down. They could have Aegis and Cheese. They have the high ground position right now that they're trying to strike from, which is being picked out by PPD, is aware that this is a likely place for them to be right now based on their vision. And good Prophet pick is that, well, when Liquid tries to start getting into this high ground position, split push is kicking in. 33 as well as Treant's top are pushing this down quickly, and I think Liquid will retreat and not get to high ground just yet.
Yeah, you see this is the heroes too, they're willing to sacrifice. Well, yes, you want to have like items onto 33. He's already got the Aghanims up. He's got the item for that high ground defense. And Zai, well, he's the sacrificial lamb. The rest of the time, it's making sure PL has that space to farm on. CCNC does get initiate goal, support is nearby, but they are not going to help him out. CCNC can do the avalanche toss and hurt Matumberman, but you hurt him, but you don't kill him. He's still got the Aegis. Is some movement, 33 is on bottom lane. They're pushing on the other side of the lane. He's trying to pick that up. 9's dead for PPD. And they also saw Zai, I think, for half a second. They just keep pinging him out too.
Sometimes Dota is really hard. Sometimes it's just really, really hard. It's one of those games. Being Crystal Maiden in this game is really hard.
Yeah. But at least now they know where Ursa and GH move. Both TP down to the shrine underneath the Dire Obs. So Optic can play around this. Kuro and Matumba rotating down towards the bottom lane as well. With Manta, it's so easy for Phantom Lancer to dodge out of these areas. Hey, Zai, you want to kill that ward in time? Yeah, he does.
He does.
154 gold. I like it.
So Zai going for that Force Staff without... He still doesn't have boots. Gets obviously some movement speed from that Spirit Vessel. 30 movement speed. So it helps, and he has a movement speed talent. So still moves at a decent 362. And this Force Staff is crucial for his team. That's how they can try to disengage from a Diffusal Broodmother. It's how they can try to disengage from an Ursa blinking and going for a bash. It will, however, not save them from Lasso.
Yeah.
And Mind Control with that newly picked up Mules now has 2 disables in skirmishes.
The push is coming again up on top lane, but Team Liquid, remember, they've got the Aegis Immortal, they've got the cheese, they want to be reaching the base. Even if it's just to kill off the tier 3 tower, that will open up the shrines for, well, demolishing. But they smoke up, 4 heroes together. And who's going to be the target? Right now, Prophet still has a lot of momentum on top lane. CCNC's farming in the jungle, getting very close towards that Shadow Blade, but they need to hold their buyback money too. Tiny and Necro both had buyback available, and here's Matumberman testing the defenses, putting the toe in the Optic Lake. And how cold is it going to be? PPD, oh, that's cold. That's really cold. PPD just gets exploded again. 43 seconds down, but they glass over. Big target, they called out all 3. who wants to come back to defend this? Zion's already beginning his TP out, and it's Mind Control who's sent back for defense. They don't care. Miracle and Matoma will be happy to continue this fight.
That was the one lasso they needed. The exact target at the exact time. Mind Control just waited for it patiently. When Necro coming in.
Send him up, bring it back down again. Remember the was Immortal on Matoma, but Avalanche can toss it back in. North, the silence is up, and CCC, the triple kick. She's good, so good. Triple kill for Miracle. They gotta look for the Ultra. This will be a dieback on 33. Wait for the inevitable. Matoma listens to me. Miracle will take the Ultra kill, and that really is probably the game. They in fact doing it. GG Cole is gonna come out just a bit as the GG pushes up. Plycat is the sole defender for Optic Gaming, and there is no way he can hold back the Horde.
Liquid just looks so good, man. They're making all these super good decisions with which heroes they put where, how they play their lanes, how they move around, spellcasting, everything's on top. They're looking fancy.
Yeah, Team Liquid have done it. Took half an hour for game 2, but it belongs to them, and so does top 6. They are the defending champions, and they are playing champion level Dota.
In this game, I gotta say, this time they didn't have this super big Alchemist time bomb that you had just had ticking. This game was more about just crisp execution. Like I said, movement, laning. They just itemization.
They're ticking
I feel like I watched this game and I couldn't really put a finger on what they did. Like everything was super clean. Actually, no, there was one. GH missed a kick.
Critical.
Once.
But then
he missed a silence.
Yeah, but then he got like 3-4 man kicks as well every single time.
Yeah,
GH was all across the map, and that's going to feel good for Team Liquid. A terrific start to their TI8 campaign here in the playoffs. They're able to get the victory in the quarterfinals. Now they're top 6 at TI8.
Liquid, they are the reigning champions, and they've managed to make their way through to the top 6 guarantee. That's not the end of the story as far as they're concerned, though. They've got one eye on the prize already. But fantastic performance by the defending champions, and commiserations to Optic, but they are not out of the tournament. They do drop down for a second chance in the lower bracket, back without Howland. Scott, what did you make of the performance overall, the best of 3?
Liquid's just too good at Dota, really.
Do we need to ban them?
It's just insane how talented they are as a team. Some of the plays they're making where like GH is rolling into a preemptive swap. Individually, they're just, I think they outmatch Optic in almost everything, having some amazing players, like Zai, PPD, and everyone on that team you could say is one of the world-class players, but Liquid just has them beat.
Yeah. GH is a bit of a god. Did make one mistake in there, Mr. Kick.
Terrible.
Terrible. Disgrace.
Bye.